Hey everyone, I've been talking about Drew Hayes' books a lot lately and decided it's time to do an actual review. So today's video, we're going to be talking about Superpowered Year 1, obviously by Drew Hayes. Now this book, the story takes place in a world where it is common for people to have superhuman powers. You have superheroes and naturally villains. And then you also have people with superpowers who aren't heroes or villains. Maybe their power just isn't strong enough to be a superhero, or maybe they just don't want to live that life. They enjoy having their powers, they do what they can, but they still obey the laws, but they also don't want to fight villains. And then you have a fourth group called Powards. These are people that have superhuman abilities, but they can't control them. So one example would be someone teleporting to random places anytime they sneeze, or someone who gets angry becoming a ball of fire. Just things that obviously would be inconvenient if they couldn't do them on command. If they're randomly happening at random times, it's a danger to themselves and others. A lot of times superheroes, in addition to having to worry about villains, they also have to worry about Powards, because Powards are a danger to everyone. If someone's randomly combusting into a ball of fire and can't control themselves, you're going to need a superhero that can withstand dealing with that Powards and get them in a place where that's safe for them and everyone else. So Powards in this world, they're really a second-class citizen. No one likes them. They're not good for anything. All they do is put themselves and others at risk. Now, for this book, in order to become a superhero, you have to get a certification, because obviously superheroes, they're gonna at times cause damage because of the scope of the battles, and in order to have protection and not be liable for everything they do, they have to get this certification. So there's a school to train supers, and only a select few actually become superheroes every year. Now this book starts off where 5 teenagers or young adults that used to be Powards have undergone an experimental treatment that gave them control of their powers. So now they appear to be supers, and they're going to be put in this superhero training program along with other supers. This is going to lead to some cultural conflict, because you have 5 people used to being the bottom of the barrel, treated like garbage, everyone's scared of them. Now they're put alongside supers, the people that have been the alphas of every community they've ever lived in, and now they're all trained to be superheroes. So the Powards, in order to make things simpler on them, they're not publicizing that they used to be Powards. So they're keeping this a secret. Obviously, you can probably already guess that at some point this secret's going to come out, and there's going to be ramifications from that. The other thing is there's just tension anytime you get 30 alphas, like I mentioned before, not only in the same class, but living together and having to figure out how to commingle when they're all used to being the top dog, and now, you know what, you're not the biggest and the baddest anymore. It's going to cause some tension. So the first probably 80% of this book is really focused on those 5 students learning how to trust their powers, use their powers, work together for the benefit of all of them, because if any of them get exposed, they're all going to be exposed. And then dealing with, again, not being the top dog and learning how to coexist with people that are just as extraordinary as you, and using their powers to complement each other's and figuring out problems that they've never had to try and solve before. Now the last 20%, I'm not going to get into spoilers, but at the beginning you kind of early on see that there are some things going on behind the scenes that you're not aware of. Like, why were these 5 chosen to become supers to begin with, and who's really betting on them to succeed, and what's the motivation there? Obviously, there is more intrigue than what you're actually getting to see. So at the end of the book, that kind of gets pulled forward a little bit. And for me, that was the most exciting part of the story. The first 80%, It was good, it was enjoyable, but wasn't great. The last bit is where I really got interested. And for that reason, overall got a 4.5-star review for me. Because, again, I was fine reading the first 80%, but 80% of this book is 25 hours or something like that. So that's a long time to go without anything really driving the plot. So for character-focused readers, I think you're going to really enjoy this because you do spend a lot of time in the day in the life of each character and trying to figure out what their own motives are and what they want and just how they view the world. And then for plot-focused readers, there's enough going on throughout the whole story, whether there's tests or battles or just little mysteries to keep the pages turning, and then at the end, it ramps up quite a bit. So I think whether you're a character-focused reader or a plot-focused reader, you will really enjoy this story. And one of the things I've really been liking about it, and this goes for all of the books that I've read by Drew Hayes, is the scope isn't too big. The world's not too big. It's not overly complex. It's really easy to just enjoy the book. It's not one that you're going to need to take notes or do research on to try and understand what's going on. They're really simple books to just sit and enjoy. So I hope you pick it up. If you do, let me know what you think of it. And until next time, bye.